We actually here have a reef very similar to the bed in Shakespeare's Birthplace in Stratford. This one is made from the timber taken from a 400-year-old barn in England and then constructed to be the same as the original birth bed. Beautiful needlework, Jacobean needlework on there, in mint condition. Still in the birth room, it's one of those items of furniture or coffer that we can absolutely date. You can do that because on the front and the carvings you can perhaps see 1687 written there in the centre towards the top near the key. This was the property of Lord Rivington Pike of Lancashire, England. But when one examines the carving there, it must have taken some woodcarver a long, long time to complete it. Absolutely beautiful condition. They match in with the general style quite well. We've now moved into the armoury, a room that's next to the birth room, and it's actually behind a secret panel. This particular settle in front of us is one of the later pieces of furniture. This is early 18th century, but it is beautifully carved and really does represent a very fine piece of furniture, again in mint condition. Below a picture of the embarkation of King Henry VIII at Dover. Quite an interesting period of history. At the end of the armoury here, underneath the window that overlooks the village green here at the Elizabethan Village, we have a very fine oak carved copper that dates back to about 1580. You can, if you look closely, some of the very fine chisel work that's been done along that top rail and all the vertical rails and the lower horizontal. As we move across to the left, another one of the beautiful Yorkshire chairs. Upholstered in this case, or at least with a cushion on, to make them reasonably comfortable. The armoury in the end room here at Shakespeare's Birthplace is a collection of guns, pikes, halberds, crossbows, general armour, and perhaps you can see the model used by an armourer to sell as a means of advertising to sell his goods. Beautifully made, a beautifully made wooden horse. When one looks at this suit of armour, one might wonder just how did the knight move. There's a fair degree of thought that's been put into that suit of armour. Notice the very fine work in the fingers, the gloves, to protect one from the opposer's sword. Must have taken a tremendous amount of fitting and effort. The man that fitted inside would have only been about 5'3" perhaps. The height of men back in the 16th century, 17th century, was generally a lot smaller than the average height of a man today. What are you looking at first? There? another item from the time of Charles II, a Derbyshire chair, about 1660. It's a very nice carving at the top there. Here in the rear annex of Shakespeare's Birthplace, we have, continuing the collection, a wainscot chair dating back to 1620, a degree of intricate carving, spindle-backed, the acorn at the top. Rather a nice specimen. Again, perhaps not the most comfortable. Very nicely preserved 17th century oak spinning wheel. Certainly would still work. As we move down now to the usual Bible box, very nicely carved front on this one. Of course, all with locks and keys. We move across to another fine carved wainscot chair. Just before the turn of the century in 1590. Over here we've got a very fine example of a four-poster bed with tester rails. The side spindle rails there actually latch up and can drop down. Notice the hinges there below the rails, making the bed a more practical proposition. Rather simple. Very well kept piece of furniture and upholstered with a beautiful Jacobean embroidered bedspread with matching pillows. Some of this needlework has to be seen very closely for one to realise the intricate work that's been involved in making it. And to the right of the bed, a split cane chair dating back again to the time of Charles II in 1660.